Starting off looking at the company information, we're talking about Starbucks Corporation. Their website is starbucks.com. Starbucks Corporation is an American multinational chain of coffee houses and roastery reserves, headquartered in Seattle, Washington. It also operates in 80 countries globally, selling primary products of coffee, tea, and an assortment of other food and beverages. The CEO is Howard Schultz, and the chairman of the board is Melody Hobson. Starbucks employs 383,000 employees. Moving into the common stock, the ticker symbol is SBUX or SBUX, with a 52-week high of $117 and a 52-week low of $68. For price earnings ratio, which will show whether the company is overvalued or properly valued, in 2022 it was 34.29 and 2021 it was 32.61. What this indicates to us is that the stock is currently overvalued. Moving into the balance sheet, some key things to look at are going to be the current ratio. 2022 is 0.767 and 2021 is 1.197. With this, a majority of assets are from the operating lease, as Starbucks is not a franchise, but they do lease out their stores to operators. 28.65% of total assets in 2022 came from this operating lease. The company is also financed with debt, as Starbucks is actually at a shareholder deficit. Thus, the liabilities are higher than the equity. For the income statement, key information to look at here is going to be the profit margin. You can see in 2020, it was very low at 3.9%. This is likely due to COVID-19. However, in 2021 and 2022, it rebounded to 14 and 10% respectively. Over the past 3 years, there has been a revenue growth going from $23.5 billion in 2020 all the way to $32.3 billion in 2022. In terms of assets analysis, so for accounts receivable, Starbucks had $1,175,500,000 in 2022 and $940 million in 2021. Starbucks noted an inventory of $2,176,600,000 in 2022 and $1.6 billion in 2021. In terms of receivables turnover, they turn over their receivables 30.5 times per year, and inventory turnover, Starbucks will turn over their inventory approximately 5.46 times per year. In terms of liabilities, so Starbucks' current liabilities lie right around $9,150,000,000 in 2022, and it was $8,150,000,000 in 2021. In terms of their long-term liabilities, though, for 2022, it's going to be $27,525,000,000, and 2021 was $28,555,000,000. Looking at the current ratio, which is going to be current assets divided by the current liabilities. So in 2022, the ratio was 0.77 to 1, meaning for every dollar of liabilities, they had 77 cents of assets. And in 2021, it was actually 1.2 to 1, meaning they actually had more assets than liabilities. So in the past year, they have switched from having more assets to now more liabilities. Starbucks Corporation currently has a higher ratio of liabilities and assets, which can be a concern in some cases. In terms of cash flow, so the net cash flow from investing activities in 2022 was negative $2.15 billion. The net cash flow from financing activities in 2022 was negative $5.64 billion. A majority of this came with a repurchase of about 36 million shares of common stock, which totaled $4 billion. And the net cash flow from operating activities in 2022 was $4.4 billion. In terms of their free cash flow, however, this can be represented in the millions. So in 2022, they only had $292 million in free cash flow, which is pretty low compared to 2021, where they had $2.4 billion. But both of these are still a drastic improvement over 2020, where they actually had a negative $1.8 billion free cash flow, meaning they had less cash than they needed. In conclusion, overall, in terms of a suggestion on whether Starbucks Corporation is a good investment or not, I'd say it is not a good investment at this time. While yes, Starbucks is the largest retail coffee chain globally and does have a steady stream of revenue and cash flow, the stock itself is simply overvalued for what the earnings per share and dividends lead me to believe. This is not to say it will necessarily lose value long term, but instead it will not yield the returns that other lesser valued or undervalued stocks will. Thank you.